Welcome back to the channel. All right, it is time for my favorite video to do each month. There's a lot of time and effort and energy goes into making this, but it is an absolute blast to do. I love this conversation and getting this information out. As always, there will be timestamps in the description if you want to jump to certain columns, categories, or of course the champions that we do discuss. While you're there, go ahead, check out the channels of the rankings team. These are some of the channels that I know I watch when I want to get better at this game and be entertained. I really appreciate them helping out as much as they do. And those of you who have seen this video before, or if you're new to it, either way, the spreadsheet looks different to you, no matter what, or it looks new. And thank you to the help of commenter and subscriber Chris. I really appreciate it, dude. You helped me out so much with coming up with emojis for the new legend, picking colors, and then all of you who commented and let me know you're having trouble reading it or things like that. I think we found something really good here. It took a ton of time, but I did read the comments. I do enjoy going back and forth with you all, and I hope you really like things as they are presented. You can see the legend there. We now have ranking dependent on awakened ability, ranking dependent on synergies, crazy high skill. We have a few champions like that. And then the microphone for meaning we are going to talk about this. Remember, the spreadsheet will be linked in the description of this channel. And if you go and you take a look at it, you can always go and see a video here. I've created playlists, which are on my channel, either with videos that I have done that I believe are extremely helpful in understanding a champion, or that other people have done. There's going to be quite a few of those because there's a lot of great videos out there. And before you go and rank up a champion, please, please, please make sure you play them, you like them, you enjoy playing them, and then watch a video. I would love it if you watch mine or someone else's, so that make sure you really understand where they can be used and how you're going to use them as you advance in this game. All right, let's jump into this. We've got our first column here, which is the pre-12.0 switch. I know not everyone was playing the game in that time, but basically she could do literally almost anything in this game. Probably the main reason that they needed to do the nerfings, and honestly, in hindsight, it was called for. It was a good thing. It just was painful. And these champions in this column, they've been moved there because they almost did not make, or they almost made it so that the rest of the rankings didn't make sense. The idea behind these rankings is have fun, a fun conversation, to get information out in a quick snapshot, and then for you to go and do your own research. And also, lastly, to show how many champions in this game are worthy of ranking. And these champions just made it all a little confusing, a little perplexing. Now, there's one that we're going to go ahead and talk about here, and that's Kitty Pryde. She's just is her most recent promotion to this. She is incredible. She is insane. You get her awakened and you put her with Ghost and Tigra. I mean, you can even put on White Magneto for that passive stun, Dragon Man. There's more. And she goes unblockable. You often find yourself, you feel like a god playing the game. I can understand where the term, god and god tier and all that comes from. She absolutely fits it. She is incredibly, incredibly fun, and I think is well deserving of this designation of there's a decent amount of the game where you just don't even need to read the note with her, and you're probably going to be fine. And she is the only promotion into that tier. That's a tier that I don't think we're going to be getting promotions into very, very frequently. All right, let's move on to top shelf. You see the champions as they're ranked. I'm not going to go and talk too much about any champion that I'm not saying has been promoted or demoted. That's what signifies we'll be talking about them. But I did want to scroll through this so you can take a look at it. These champions are the best. They're just the best. Frequently, the most frequent question I get asked is, should I rank this champion to rank 3? I have them. And this is a no, yes, absolutely. You should most definitely rank 3 this champion. That's what gets you into that top shelf tier. And that will grow as the game grows, I am sure. Now, super premium. This is where things get to be a little bit of a pause, right? You come onto one of my streams, or you're in a video, or you're on my Discord server, and you ask, you say, should I rank 3 Dr. Voodoo? He's out as a 6-star now. And the initial reaction is yes. All right, maybe let's ask a few questions, but the initial reaction is yes, they are worthy of it for the vast majority of accounts. Now you'll see that we have some promotions here. We have Hood. The Hood is absolutely incredible. The Nullify and the Fate Steal off of the SB2. And then I always like there's certain abilities in games that you find powerful. For me, one of them is the ability for the miss mechanic. There's not a lot of counters to it, and his ability to miss is an extremely nice light intercept. And if you pair him with Mole Man, you are refreshing the bullets. Now, that's why I have the synergy there. If you wanted to just run like a main hood team, you're refreshing those bullets. You can go invisible, maybe even pair him with Strife, which is increasing your attack power while you're invisible. And you are going to detonate those, I believe they're called hexes. And you're going to do significant damage while also maybe absolutely controlling the buffs of the defender. If you don't want to bring in Mole Man for whatever reason, I think you can also pair him with other champions that he is a great synergy partner for, like Ghost or Kingpin, and you use him to take maybe that 1 or 2 fights on the lane that they couldn't take, or if there's a buff heavy defender or node, you can use him. He's going to refresh his bullets more because of the buffs that are present, and he's going to absolutely detonate some champions for you. So I really do like him, and the Awaken allows him to go stun immune while invisible. Getting stunned is really bad. Bad things happen to you. So anytime you can go stun immune in this game, I think that is a massive, massive advantage and something that should be talked about for a champion. I really like him. I am actually considering ranking 3 mine. I just have a lot of great options at the moment. Scarlett with Sigil, we're seeing the amazing things she can do. Her ability to handle buffs is fantastic. The damage is incredible. She's absolutely a blast to play. Additionally, and this is where for me, it's a big deal. The fact that she can parry stun or parry and unblockable, and then go unblockable herself. I hate dealing with unblockable. And so being able to just trivialize it like that, I think alone would get her a decent ranking, if not more. And then when you add all the other things she can do as far as the incredible damage and varieties of ways of damage, she's definitely deserving this. I want to keep my eye on her. I could see her getting promoted over time, but let's make her earn it a little bit here. We're scrolling on down, and we're going to get to Spider-Man 99. If you haven't heard, he's very, very good. I was pretty warm on him in the CCP initial reviewing, but it's tough, right? There's not a lot of time to test them, and I think War is what has shown us how good he can be. The health pools tend to be smaller, and there's a lot of intense power gain nodes with his Wither and things like that, and the lack of ability to gain buffs. Handled some very, very tough nodes for people, and then I think that got us to start exploring him more in questing and other difficult content. This is a great champion. I desperately would love to pull him from the 6-star featured. Mr. Negative, I recently taken mine to rank 3. There's quite a few good videos from different content creators in there. MP Blaze, and then of course Felganos too, really going over the details of how to play him. Spider-Man 99 has stolen his thunder a little bit, but I really believe as this game advances and evolves, we're going to see that while they do have some overlap, they are also very different. They're forming a bit of what I like to call the MCoC Venn diagram. I like Mr. Negative a lot, and the presence of Spider-Man 99 is not making me dislike Mr. Negative. I just want them both at rank 3. And also, if I can get one more thing in here, is that I don't think you absolutely have to get to, I believe it's the 10 dark energy before you throw the SP2, at least in some of these tougher war fights. If you see some of my war videos from this last season, you'll see I don't think I ever did against those tough fights against Mojo and still managed to solo that kinetic transfer to Mojo. Really, really no problem at all. It was a great, great thing. Let's go ahead and scroll on down. Silver Centurion. I know a lot of you are gonna be like, dude, he's not that good. Yes, he is. He is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. I did a review on him, and it is very difficult for me because I have not taken him to rank 3, but it's purely been for war reasonings, which is very specific to my BG. I love playing that champion. I love the slow mechanic, right? Of course, there's so much utility. He has a very, very unique set of immunities in there, which as well as Penny Parker. In fact, we can kind of talk about them similarly. A real unique set of immunities on both of them, decent to good damage on both of them. Silver Centurion is able to handle champions that usually shrug debuffs. Again, if you're really doubting what I'm saying, I urge you to check out that video. He is absolutely fantastic. I know that I will eventually take him up. It's just the tech class, and when you're building your own roster, a lot of it has to do with what alliance am I playing in, what BG am I in, And I am in for Loki, a lot of war focus. I love war, and so he has been passed up a couple times, but it's not something that I would advise your general player to do. Penny Parker with that access to the heal block. I think the Awakened is really important to her being a well-rounded champion. Without it, I think you have someone who can deal with kinetic transference. You have a really unique set of immunities, which is valuable. The massive damage potential off of the SB2, as long as you can incinerate, which is not that common to have someone be immune to that, or nodes that are immune to that. So I don't think that's a detraction from her. And then the fact that you can play her with a little bit of a safety net with that auto block she has, that really should not be underestimated, particularly in things like war. I do really like her, but it's the Awakened ability that gives her those heal blocks. And that opens up and allows you to take her in places where you just otherwise flat out would not. And that's really cool in Awakened ability when it's adding a whole new set of abilities or places you can go. I really like that about her. All right, let's go ahead and scroll on down. Knull. So a lot of you don't know, I haven't gotten the video out on it, and I eventually will. I actually have a rank 3 Sig, like 80 something Knull. I really like him. I don't think he's in the top shelf, at least not yet. I want to make him earn this. And I know that he was, bug was fixed with him with his current update. I want to play with that, really see how it works out. Massive armor breaks though, right? Significant sources of damage, which is great. Multiple sources of damage. And then his survivability with the healing off of running the suicides and a nice heal that he can access. I think that alone gets you right into super premium, right? Excellent damage, suicide friendly, heals off suicides, armor break, which is a really important debuff to be able to place in this game. I really do like him. He's even got a bit of an evade counter. I find like it's not the most practical, but it is there if you really want it. And I think that is something that should not be overlooked about him. All right, let's go ahead and scroll over to premium. And kind of the same thing, right? One of the most often questions I get asked is, should I rank you this champion? If my initial reaction is like, this is a great champion, I think so on the rank 3. Let's talk. Let's talk about your roster. Let's talk about your goals in this game and what you're shooting for. And let's really dive into that. That's premium. That's how you separate super premium and premium. It's the level of doubt, or the level of, let's find out about your roster to make sure you don't regret this rank up in the next 3 or 4 months, wishing you'd got that tier 5 CC back or something like that. So we'll go ahead and scroll on through. I put Guillotine here. I know a lot of folks don't like her. And I think a lot of it's because of expectations. I had similarly very high expectations. The fact of the matter is though, this champion can dish out significant damage. Damage is not enough to get you into those other tiers. It's just not, in my opinion. In this game, you need more. That's too complex. But she can reverse healing, guys, and I think we need to keep that in mind. I believe there may be some talk about increasing her healing. I honestly don't know. It's been too much to follow, and it's convoluted. If and when it comes, we'll report on it and we'll test it out. But the fact is, she does get a little bit of healing too. And so I like her. I think this fits her there. If you happen to really like Guillotine and you're like, I need someone who can bleed and I need someone who can reverse heal, I think Guillotine is a quality answer. Again, premium champions are very good. So if your favorite champion's in there, that's not a slight to your champion. This is more showing this is how many good champions are in this game. All right, let's move on down. And we've got our first demotion. I never like doing demotions, but I think this had to happen. And it's Spider-Ham. He is a fantastic champion. I love Spider-Ham. I love him. I considered him an indulgence rank when I took him to rank 3, mainly thinking it was just for the power stings and because he's fun to play. But then I quickly realized he was actually very good for a lot of these massive power gain nodes and massive power gain mystics that we were seeing. Troublesome ones like with Degeneration, like Mojo and things like that. So I really liked him, and I did some videos showcasing that and some of those massive power gain nodes that we see in Alliance War. But what has happened, it feels very similar to what's happened with Spider-Man Stealth, is that they were very good because there was a problem that existed in the game. And there was not a lot of options to solve that problem. They came in, and so they filled that. And it was the best we had, and so they were valuable. And I still think he is valuable, but we now have Spider-Man 99 and Mr. Negative and potentially Anti-Venom filling that niche. And I think they're better, more well-rounded champions. and they're definitely better at filling that niche. A lot of hard words to say in a row there. They're definitely better at filling that niche than he is. And as a result, when I play him, it's more just purely for fun or to access a power sting if the nodes are really requiring it. So that's where he's at. I still think he's great. And check out that video if you're interested in it. And then Anti-Venom, as I reference him, I'm not as sold on him. I definitely know people who are, and you know what, I'm actually going to update this. Simula has been doing some great videos on him. So when you guys see this, the spreadsheet will be updated to show Simula's videos on Anti-Venom. Can access significant damage off of that SP2 and does seem to have quite a bit of utility off of his basic hits and those, it was like a debuff that he applies and things like that. I like this champion, really powerful synergy for Spider-Man 99. And so I know that some of my buddies in SSX1 have been taking him into war, doing some very, very cool things with him. So I suggest checking that out too if you're interested in Anti-Venom. I could see him moving up in these ranks, but I want to make him earn it a little bit. Speaking of champions that we're going to make earn it is Nimrod. And that was a great point to point that out because you saw this. When you go to the spreadsheet, you can click on this link. I know it shows something very bizarro from YouTube, but that's not that is not a video in those playlists. I don't know why YouTube's doing that with the link here, but it is what it is. All right. Speaking of champions that want to earn it, I actually wanted to move Nimrod to super premium. I think he's there. He has, of course, those immunities. He has both of his stances or protocols, which provide tremendous utility together. And in the right circumstances, it is not difficult to get him to have both of them. I can't think of what he calls it. I think it's like the eradicate protocols when he has both of them up, allowing you to take care of healing and prowess. Now, it's not a heal block, but those together with significant damage in the unblockable and the unstoppable coming off of the specials with a significant power drain, I like him. But I also have him at rank 3, and I was pretty much alone in the ranking crew on thinking he should be super premium. And to me, that's a sign of I want to play him more before I just tell the group like, no guys, he's definitely super premium, no doubts, right? When all of them are saying, I'm not so sure, dude. Let's make him earn it. I think that's a sign we got to make him earn it. You want to get him awakened, okay? That's an important part of his kit and accessing that damage. Nebula is a tough one because if you look at certain videos, and I have a rank 2 Nebula myself, I'm tempted to take her to rank 3 potentially for war uses. She looks like one of the best champions in the game. I mean, I play with alongside Bryn in BG3 there, and he's been absolutely destroying things with his in war. We've talked a little bit about it, gotten some advice. It almost feels like a bit of an Archangel replacement if a defender is somehow immune to bleed or poison, but not shock, which is probably going to be the vast majority of champions in the game are going to be able to take damage from one of those sources. Nebula seems incredible and amazing, but I want to make her earn it, right? Her buff just came live, and there is a tendency to be very excited about a champion and then kind of start to pull back. And again, remember, I always start conservative with these ranks. Hulkbuster is another demotion. It's very similar to the reasoning on Spider-Ham and Stealth S is the tech class has just improved. The tech class has improved their relationship with Cosmic and then also mutants. It's evolved. And Hulkbuster, while was very good at the time and has access to tremendous damage, it's not as much as what it was, or he's not fulfilling these niches or these problem spots as much as he was. Still has tremendous damage. I still think a very good champion. I don't not regret taking mine to rank 3 in any way, shape, or form, but I do think we need to reflect this. If you're a new player or you're just coming along or you just pulled Hulkbuster, you're trying to choose between him and Silver Centurion, I would definitely tell you Silver Centurion, no doubt, easy answer. So I wanted to reflect that. The demotions always don't feel quite as good. Let's go ahead and continue to scroll on down. We got Thor Ragnarok. Oh, you know what? I'm glad they did this. I did not think they would buff. I did not think Kabam would buff Thor until well after he fell out of prestige consideration. But I think it's cool that they did this. Obviously, the massive stun lock, incredible damage, get him to that SP3. And you will probably see videos of him doing this in a variety of places. And I think that's great. This just is not someone that I think has enough utility. And I know you guys are gonna say like, hey, but you saw him do that. How's that not utility? It's just, in my opinion, I would much rather have Crossbones, Hitmonkey, Elsa, and Falcon. No doubt. I really have no concerns about saying that compunction or hesitation. I'd rather have Black Panther, Jabari, Night Thrash, and Massacre is when it starts to get close for me. But I'd much rather have them than Thor. I think he's good. If you've ranked him up, congratulations. I hope you're having a blast. And I hope you absolutely destroy contact with him. And I hope the Prestige helped you maybe either stay in your alliance, help your alliance, or get into a higher tier alliance than you previously were in. Let's go ahead and get to Karnak. The busting's good, right? There's a lot in there. You can tell we're going a little long here, so I want to speed this up. But there's nothing that makes me want him more than these champions listed above him. If so, it would be very account specific. It would mean that you really had a need for the things that he does, and you did not already have them in champions that are higher on the rankings. And so I would want to talk that through with you if you came and asked me about ranking Karnak. I'd want to make sure you did not already have a champion that could do these things that he can provide. And then we get to Hela. The damage is insane. The damage is immense. I am not in any way, shape, or form trying to take away from that. We've seen her do incredible things. I do think the synergies are important. And then, of course, the ability to play her very high skill. I know a couple of you have commented that you feel like you're maybe not the highest skill player, but you've been able to pull this off. I think that's probably a sign that you've done well with Hela. And that is still something that should be called out, right? Because I do not want people thinking they've pulled Hela or in Venom Pool, which one should they rank up? They're going to rank up their Hela because they've seen these amazing videos. I want to make sure folks really understand. Go and watch these videos and see what it is she's doing. Make sure you have those synergy partners, and then you can go ahead and get that done too. And then I believe we have one last champion to talk about in the call section, or maybe we can just explain what call is. This is kind of a catch-all now. So it can either be this champion has a very, very specific job to do. Like, let's go ahead and say America Chavez, who's a massive disappointment to me. I'm a big fan in the character and things like that on the TV show I enjoy watching. But let's say you needed to reverse ability power gain and you had no one else that could do this. She could do that for you. Yeah, she could do that for you. The fight will take forever. And you'll run into some other problems because she has some, in my opinion, some real fundamental flaws. But she could do that. On the other hand, here in call, we have just the baseline for ranking. Like, maybe you just really enjoy this champion. Like, a lot of people really enjoy Nightcrawler. They enjoy playing him. He can do damage. He can handle some things for you. I don't think it's crazy to rank him thinking that you will use him if you really enjoy him. So that's what this column is for. These aren't champions I would normally suggest ranking up, but if you have a very specific job for them to do, or you just really enjoy playing them, maybe you're like me where, you know, there's a TV show you enjoy watching or a run of comics you really enjoyed, and you want to rank them up for these reasons, yeah, I think you could do this and you could probably have a lot of fun with them and do some impressive stuff. Like, I actually soloed a Summer of Pain boss here with America Chavez. Man, those links on YouTube, those are funny, but that's weird. But anyways, if you click the link, it'll go to the right one. You can see that there in the playlist. Thank you so much for watching. I really do enjoy reading the comments on this. I have learned so much. We've been doing this for over a year now, I believe, on the rankings themselves. I know the channel's a little older than a year. I've learned so much from you, how you're using champions. Some of the ones I always point to for why they've gotten promotions eventually. Hitmonkey and Crossbones are two of the biggest ones. People showing me, no, dude, I've been using them in Act 6 to handle these really tough fights. Check out this person's channel who used them for Summer of Pain and what have you. And it's great. The idea is to get this information out and to have a lot of fun talking about this, and then just watching the evolution of the game, the in-game, the meta game, and those sorts of things. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to the rankings team. And then again, thank you, huge shout out to Chris for all of your help with this. It's a tremendous amount of time I know you put forth, because I know how long it took me to create this as well. So I can only imagine how long it took you. Thank you so much for watching. Really looking forward to reading the comments. And if you want to do something helpful or supportive for me, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and share this with someone. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Take care. Hey guys, I know a lot of you have asked for a screenshot size, and it just can't work with the way I have this lined up. And I do like the way I have this lined up. In other words, it just gets too tall. So what I thought I would do here is give you this, and then we're going to scroll it down, and then you can go to that Stitch It app that I know a lot of us use for when we put together our rosters to show them to like alliance leaders or war planners. and hopefully you can just do this. If this is what you're looking for, I hope it was helpful. Let me know. If it wasn't, I do apologize. It's the best we could do. And if you could hit a thumbs up, maybe consider sharing this and subscribing. I would really, really appreciate it. Hope this was helpful. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.